Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Code videocast with Thom and Tim. No, Thom and
You got the pointer
Thom
backwards.
and Tim. My pointer, my directional pointer is not.
I'm Thom. This is
And
Tim.
I'm Tim. Hey, this is the show where we help you crack the Entrepreneur Code for success.
It
Thom,
is indeed.
How have you been? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. I had a great Thanksgiving. We got to visit with the grandchildren.
The grandbabies. How many
Yes.
do you have now?
I have 2 and about to have 3.
Wow. So you have girls or boys now?
2 girls now, boy on the way.
Wow. This is going to be the most
He and I will be the
spoiled
old-
little boy.
We'll be the only 2 males around.
Wow. See, I have no. I have a step grandchild who
Yeah.
I think is like 8, but no babies.
Yeah.
I did not raise breeders.
Yeah.
So, you know, but that's okay. I have
That's all
dogs. I have all my dogs. So,
Na-
hey,
Nacho?
I have Nacho, Buddy, Annie, Sandy, Foxy, and of course Big Murph, the big one. Let me see you name your grandkids that. That would be great. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is the show where we help you crack the entrepreneur code for success by talking about things that are small business and entrepreneurial related. What
Yeah.
would you like to talk about today? As usual, we're highly prepared.
Yes, we've done our
Our
show
3
prep.
minutes of show prep. What do you want to talk about, Thom?
I think an interesting topic today would be to talk about some of the developments that are going on in the economy and the market in general, but from a kind of macro perspective, how no matter what we do to make our business a success, at some point it's dependent on what else is going on.
The outside factors, the
Yeah.
local economy, growth. That's one thing we were talking about was the growth of Huntsville in North Alabama is just continuing to do this. We just got news this week that another, 1,400 jobs are coming in with the FBI.
Yep.
The Redstone Arsenal, which I believe is the hub of all activity here.
Everything kind of radiates around.
Well, it does. You've got the arsenal, and really a lot of the businesses, if not all, are here to support the arsenal, the people that are attracted to the arsenal, the ones that relocate here. God forbid the arsenal ever go away.
I don't think it'll happen.
I hope it doesn't. Boy, can you imagine the dust bowl that we would be here? Because it really, when you look at the arsenal and all of the defense contractors that have come to town, and yeah, it's just a growing area.
But we know, in the area, we know that for every big business new job that's added, somewhere between 5 and 7 other jobs are created.
Right.
So for every Army command that moves on post or FBI activity that moves on post, they all have to have somewhere to live. They have to have somewhere to eat. They have to have...
They have to have housing, cars,
Yeah.
groceries,
Yeah.
clothing, entertainment.
Right.
And
So no, it's not only that job, it's the jobs at the restaurants and the grocery stores.
Exactly right.
And whatnot. So in the same way, now we've got a couple of cities in the country right now that are going to suffer the opposite effect with GM closing plants.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
here-
they're doing just despite the Trumpster.
yeah, well, they're giving.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. So the guy that owns the convenience store on the corner, he's just out of luck because those couple of thousand people are not driving past every morning to get their cup of coffee on the way into work.
Right.
And there's absolutely nothing he can do about that.
Well, there isn't, because his success relies on the outside factors, the economy, not only that, but things like trends and demographics. You know, we've seen that happen where, you know, a neighborhood will go down or go up. Well, you know, what do they call it? Gentrify, when it starts to
Go back
to
up.
get a little older or go back up. I always get those because to me, gentrify sounds like it's going down.
Well,
It's gentrifying. Maybe it's
that's
de-gentrifying. Okay,
degentrification.
we're in over our heads now. But you
yeah,
know what
those
I mean.
words have too many syllables for us.
But here's an interesting thing, and I figured this out when I was in retail in the gun business. You know, if you've got a retail store, you're not only at mercy of the economy and trends and fashion, but things like the weather,
Sure.
your road construction, whether or not the Iron Bowl is on. When I had my gun business, we would had TVs in the store, so we'd have the iron bowl on, hoping the stray Tennessee fan might come in. But all of those things affect business. Now the question becomes, how do you counter those effects?
Well, so you pull out your crystal ball.
I have one of those.
Yeah. Well, no, it really is true, right? We know, for example, that Alabama's going to play Auburn the Saturday after Thanksgiving every year.
Right.
So it doesn't really take a crystal ball to look forward and see that. The convenience store owner who is going to suffer a loss from the GM plant closing down can look locally, and focus locally about what's going on. But if they choose to look globally or nationally and see trends and keep up, here's my big employer right down the street. Mm-hmm. If I keep up with their stock reports, I might have a pretty good idea what's going on with them and can prepare for that. Mm-hmm. So in that way, there is a little bit of fortune telling or crystal ball work to do there.
But how do you change? And here's a thing that I think that we can talk about is sometimes you can't change.
Right. Sometimes this particular activity has run its course.
Will put you out of business. Mm-hmm. It's the same true if the economy is booming and all of a sudden you're the only guy and then competition is popping up on every corner.
Right.
Same kind of thing. You're not being put out of business because the economy is collapsing around you. It's because the economy is booming.
Right.
And the competition is becoming more fierce.
Well, all right. So we talk to people about this all the time, capturing momentum on current trends, be the first mover in the market. Mm-hmm. When you are the first mover in the market, you have a better opportunity of dictating price than otherwise. But you can only hold that power until other players come into the market.
Right.
Because as soon as they do, they'll start undercutting you, and all of a sudden, last weekend, the shop was full. Today, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
And they're shopping at the place down the street that's 10% cheaper. So now you've lost that first mover advantage. Now it's time to move on beyond that.
Okay.
And just accept that you're not getting it back.
Right.
For this product in this place.
Well, let's play out a scenario.
Okay.
On a grand scale to
right.
begin with. Let's say, God forbid, the arsenal closed.
Okay.
For whatever reason, the arsenal is no longer there. The attraction for a lot of the defense contractors to remain in the area suddenly goes away because they want to be near the military boys.
Right.
So as things start to trickle down, you're going to see, I think the defense contractors will then start to go away. Mm-hmm. And then you've got that whole tier of companies that are there simply to support the defense contractors, the primes, if you will. Right. And as that trickles down, again, you're going to see less money in the economy. You're going to see less money being spent on entertainment, on housing, etc. Boy, end of the world scenario. Let's hope it never happens. But how do you prepare for something like that? And we can even do it on a smaller scale where the GM plant is closing. How is that going to affect the neighborhood?
Right. So, I like the bigger scale. Can we stick with the bigger scale?
Let's stick with the bigger scale, sure.
The way I would look at it, those defense contractors employ a large number of engineers, right? Who are probably not going to move. There's...
Well, if their jobs go away.
But if the economy, if the leaders in the economy...
Tommy and the folks down at the city would be hustling economic development.
To bring other businesses in.
Which is what they've been doing the last decade or so, bringing in the factories and that sort of thing.
Right. So that's your natural resource at that point. We have a high concentration of engineers here, right? So let's find other businesses that need engineers and recruit them into the area.
Right.
And to your point, they're doing that in advance of,
right,
in order to kind of mitigate the chance that, because that, for a long time, that's been kind of the fear that whole installation goes away.
And that fear has been around for years. I think forever, really.
So, at the level of the convenience store, you start looking at what's my present reality. Can I take the resources that I have and create something else that the people who are left behind will continue to buy? If I can't, then my store, I have to look at the store as a resource, sell it, cash out on it,
Before bottom
convert
hits.
that store to cash, right? So now my resource is cash. I can go somewhere else and do something different.
So what you're saying is if the bottom starts to fall out, sell the store.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of town if you can. And, well, what about this? What could you do differently in that store? Is there anything you could do differently? Because if that economic dollar is going away, we're not talking about a shift in market trends or demographic. We're talking about a shift in the money.
Right.
All of a sudden there's not a mattress store on every corner.
The free flow of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could become a money manager. I mean, well,
What does that mean?
it's like the old joke, right? It's a recession when my neighbor gets laid off. It's a depression when I get laid off,
yeah.
right? So, when you see the last guy turn out the lights at the plant and drive off, your recession just turned into a depression. So the free flow of cash is not going to continue. Consumers are going to be holding on to what little bit of cash they've got. You've got the necessities and the vices. That's what everybody's always going to buy. So you could start selling those. So in the a convenience store turn into a liquor store.
Because people always need booze, especially when times are bad.
Especially when times are bad.
I like that. So don't close. Sell
Don't close.
booze.
Just shift your inventory.
I think seriously, what you got to do is you've got to be number one. You got to be realistic.
Yeah.
Okay. You and I both have known people who really hung on way past the point.
Way past the point.
And the fact of the matter is, someone may be able to take over that store and make it work, or do something with it, or whatever. So I just think it's interesting, and I don't think it'll ever happen. I think the Arsenal is going to be here forever. But you remember BRAC when they were closing other bases to bring folks here? I'm sure people in those towns were saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think Tommy Battle and the folks in Huntsville, and even Paul Finley and Madison, are doing a really good job of bringing in companies like Remington, the card manufacturers,
Polaris.
but then down to
Toyota.
Polaris, Google,
Yes.
Facebook,
Yeah.
those. I mean, they were competing for the Amazon headquarters.
Yeah.
So it's a constant beating of the bushes to try to get new things to add to the economy.
Well, and I think they're doing it at a governmental municipal level. I mean, as business owners, we can do the same thing, right? I mean, we enter into a market that take the first mover advantage, move into a market. We're get a warm reception. Competitors move in. All right, now I have to try some different things. Now, the informed business owner tries new things that his customers say they're interested in. The uninformed one just, goes in the catalog and says, what can I buy the cheapest?
Right.
Right? And just, they look at it like, I'm just slinging things on the wall to see what'll stick. You got 100 people coming in here every day. Ask them what they want.
Yeah.
And the thing, now I'll be honest. I've never owned a convenience store, but
I almost did. I almost bought one.
well, so here's what I want to know.
Can you imagine me behind the counter at a convenience store?
Get your crap and get out.
Get your beer and your condoms and go.
All right. So, as a convenience store owner, why would you put a credit card reader on the pump? Why wouldn't you want them to come in the store?
Convenience? You mean you want them to get out of the car and come inside and pay?
Yeah,
Ignore that.
For the convenience store owner, I want them to come in to pay, so
But
they won't
the
pass the
customer-
drink case and the candy bar rack.
Yeah. But I wouldn't go to that gas station if I had to go inside to pay.
Oh, okay. So
I want the convenience of the credit card at the pump.
it's the convenience to the customer.
Exactly.
All right. So how about if, as a convenience store owner, to differentiate myself, I had a selection menu on the gas pump that or a number. Let's just say it's a number. You can text me what you want, and I'll bring it out to the pump to you.
So if you want a drink or something, so
Yep.
you can order something at the pump. Now, see, I like that idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Can we do that? How much is that going to cost to develop?
Hashtag great idea.
Hashtag great idea. Well, you'll notice a lot of places now, like Walmart and Kroger, out at the pumps, they're also drink machines, and they got the person in the little cage there,
Right.
so they can sell you the snacks and the drinks and that sort of thing easily.
Yeah, but again, that kind
not
of
the
goes
same.
back to the
Yeah.
point, right? To your point, you still go to the pump and swipe your card. Then you have to go over and make a completely separate transaction
To buy
to
something.
get your drink or soda.
Right.
But if I could sit there, I have to stand there by the pump anyway while it's pumping. If I can text, Coke and plain M&Ms
Or you don't text it; you just do it right there on the
on the
screen.
screen.
It's like those. You've been in the restaurants where they have the little kiosk thing on the table. I
Yeah.
hate those, by the way. But a lot of people like to place there where you don't see a waiter until they bring your food.
Right.
Right.
So I never imagined that I would do this. I remember when Chick-fil-A came out with their app where you could order ahead of time. Like, why would I do that? I'm going to drive through the drive-through anyway.
Right.
Now I always order before I get there,
Why?
even when I'm going through the drive-through.
Just to save that little bit of time.
Yeah, because now all I do is drive up and say, mobile order for Tom, thank you, and drive away.
Yeah.
It's convenience for me, man.
But see, that's the thing. What is often a good business strategy is counterintuitive to the way people shop. If it becomes inconvenient for the customer to do business with you, they are not going to do business with you.
Correct. Now, let's bring this back to where we started.
Okay.
If the gas station on the other corner, you've seen gas stations on opposing corners, they'll mirror each other's
There's
price.
actually a map code, two map codes down. Have you been to the corner of County Line Road and 72?
Caddy corner, right?
Right across from each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they get you going and coming. MapCo's brilliant.
So, but competing gas stations, cross corners will mirror prices. Now, what if the station across the street started offering that pump side service to deliver the Cokes and M&Ms? That kind of forces your hand.
Yeah.
You either have to do that or cut prices.
Or do something.
Or do something
else. Like we'll bring you a cup of coffee to the pump.
Right.
That would be good. Having baristas at the gas pump in the morning. Seriously, you go and you get your gas.
Yeah.
Now you remember. Now here's a funny thing. Back eons ago, there were actually people who were employed to pump gas.
Oh, yeah.
You would pull into a gas station. You didn't even have to get out of your car. You're talking about convenience, right? And this kind of goes with what you're saying. At some point, someone made the decision that you should pump your own gas. And then they made the decision that you didn't even have to come inside to pay.
It's
you
kind
could
of
do
like
it at the
checking
pump.
yourself out at the store. I refuse to do those self-checkouts.
I'm going to support those baggers.
Yeah. Well, in New Jersey, you can't pump your own gas.
Really?
And I think it's Washington State.
People not smart enough?
Can't pump your own gas.
Why is that?
Because they want the operator to be responsible for spills.
Okay.
Anyway, no, I totally see
Yeah.
your point. And we compromise, right? The people, well, it's like, so you talked about Walmart a minute ago. Now they've got this, all the grocery stores are into this curbside pickup.
Right.
Right? Well, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Sweet Pea and some other entities tried this grocery delivery service, and they failed.
Right.
Well, why did they fail? I mean, the big objection at that time was, well, I don't want somebody else picking out my groceries.
Right.
But now we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think
Voluntarily.
back then you didn't have the technology that you have now, where you can literally go on and say vegetables, peas, Del Monte fresh cut, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then it was a much more a labored process because you couldn't just go in there, point, click, and click.
Yeah.
But they're still doing the grocery delivery in some of the larger cities. I don't think it works elsewhere. But the one complaint that I've heard against the grocery pickup thing here is if, number one, they rarely get your order right, no matter what. because they just don't care. And if they don't have like what you want, they'll replace it with something. And there's that whole inconvenience factor then of doing returns and whatever. But anyway, the what we're talking about, at least when we started, we kind of do this. We go in the ditch across the field. Are you bringing us back?
I'm going to bring it back and get
Watch
it back
Thom
on the road.
get back on the road.
So when the gas station across the street implements something new, you have a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
When the factory down the street closes, when tariffs are applied or relieved, you have choices to make.
Right.
And if you are only looking this far ahead in your business, you're going to go off the cliff and into the ditch.
You're not really going to see what's coming.
Right.
Okay, makes sense. So if the economy suddenly shifts or the arsenal or the factory or whatever shuts down, the smart entrepreneur is the one that kind of maybe saw it coming and already has a game plan to deal with it. And there are no magic bullets here.
No.
You might not be able to deal with it.
Right. The correct answer may be to shutter the business.
Right. And go do something else.
Yep.
There you go. Hey, what an uplifting show we've brought you today. When hell goes into what is it? When things go to hell in a handbasket, the smart guys sell handbaskets.
That's right.
So coming next week, Tim and Thom's handbaskets.
Handbaskets are us.
So,
but that the whole gold rush, the guys that made money, were the guys that sold Levi's and shovels.
Picks and shovels. Yep. So, all right. So the moral to the story is keep your eyes open. Look for things going on. Read the newspapers. Well, they don't have newspapers anymore. They all went out of business.
Because they weren't looking far enough ahead.
That's exactly right. So what do you got going on?
Let's see. I've got a big announcement. I'll make the big announcement next week. Though.
No, make it now.
Oh, are you sure?
We need something to pull us out of the
All right, we'll do this. If you are an engineer, we've spoken about engineers today.
We have, yes.
If you are an engineer, coming up the last week of February is Engineer to Entrepreneur, a half-day event that might have somebody else we know on the stage.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Then by all means, you should come.
If you have
What
a
is
business,
that, Engineer to Entrepreneur?
it is Monday, February the 25th. You can go to engineertoentrepreneur.us. Remarkably, the .com
really
was taken. Yes.
Wow.
Engineertoentrepreneur.us. And sign up there. You get all the notifications, buy tickets when they go on sale.
Awesome. It's going to be an awesome event because I'm involved, obviously.
I'm putting it on, and he's involved.
There you go.
So
Just
you'll
show
either
me.
flock to the ticket sales or flee.
Have you ever gone to the zoo and just stood outside the monkey cage? You can see
Here we go.
how interesting that can be. All right, so how did they get a hold of you, Mr. Rigsby?
Easiest way is head to the website, thomrigsby.com.
Very good. And if you need me, as always, I'm cranking into real estate as long as the arsenal's open. I'm selling, baby. You can give me a call, 679-0704, or go to my website, which is revolved.com.
There you go.
All right. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.